Hey now, it's Sharon. I'm back to share another idea on how we can better policing here in the US. If you're new to the channel, I'm a retired detective. I worked for 20 years for a southeastern city, and I was also in the military. I'm sharing my ideas, experiences, perspective, and opinion on how we can better policing here in the US. And I do that from an individual basis, not including the whole scheme of things, the system, even though I include some of that a little bit in different videos. But right now, I'm just going into the vein of the individual that wants to come into policing or the individual that's thinking about coming into policing. This is for everyone who will listen. People talk about abolishing the police. And if you abolish it, whatever you replace it with, you're going to have individuals in it. And I believe this video and all the others that came before it can help. Is it the end all be all to the solution? No, it could be tweaked, but it's an idea. I have a plan that I put together several years ago, and I go back and I look at it and I tweak it for the current events and how it can be used to whatever system we put in place in retooling or replacing the police, it can still work. So with that being said, the title of the video, what are officers afraid of? And of course, the common sense things, getting hurt, getting shot, dying. But what are officers mainly afraid of? And my experience has been other officers. Well, money, messing with their money. I would say, I have to back up and say messing with their money in terms of extra jobs and days off. If you start messing with that, that's when you see a lot of officers start speaking up. Because in talking with folks, they're always saying or asking me, well, okay, you spoke up and you blew the whistle twice. Why aren't there other officers blowing the whistle? And we get into a discussion about some people, they don't want their days off messed with. Days off mean extra jobs. It's more lucrative than their regular officer job. I talked about that in the videos and how it affects the whole entire system, so to speak, that I mentioned earlier. So a lot of officers don't speak up because the extra jobs are lucrative and they're taking care of their families and all that good stuff. But other officers, I could speak for myself in terms of other officers. When I blew the whistle the first time, I wasn't familiar with, so to speak, the officer environment and the culture, if you will. I think I was 4 years into it. And I was on some great teams and I saw things as an officer, but you learn to keep your mouth shut. And so then I started to look into my faith more and things like that. And then there was a struggle within me to keep my mouth shut. And I'm like, do I say anything or not say anything? And of course I said something because I blew the whistle twice. And that's what officers are afraid of. They're afraid of, like I said, my experience with blowing the whistle. The first time, I didn't like the ostracism, the not talking to me, staying away from me, isolating me, people being afraid to be seen with me and talk to me. That was depressing. I talk about that. I share how, I think it's called, the video that I have it in is telling the truth will get you hurt. I'll tag it in the at the end. But yeah, my hair started falling out. I was stressed out. I talk about, having to look over my shoulder and things like that because I told the truth, because I was pulled into the office and they asked me what happened. I didn't want to lie, of course. And not lying got me into trouble. It made me a victim. I talk about it in my book. I talk about that very thing in this book right here. A lot of people see the title and they get scared. But I talk about it in here. I share some of the things that I went through. But other officers are afraid of other officers. And when you see things going on, if there's no struggle, within you. When I say things going on, I mean within the rank and file, with the higher ups and how they do things, how they carry out things. There was a saying in my department: there are practices that are not policy, and there are policies that are not practice. That says something about the system. That says something about the people within it. And so if you don't have that struggle when you see something as an officer within the rank and file, and you don't have a struggle and you're okay with it, or your comment is it's not affecting me, or don't affect me and mine, something's wrong. Something's wrong, because it will affect you and yours eventually. And yeah, I just wanted to share that little bit. I'll tag, like I said, the video where I talk about what I went through and the hair falling out and things like that, how it came to this haircut. But I love this haircut. So other officers, mainly afraid of other officers. I think some of us rather get into a gunfight than have other officers ostracize us, retaliate against us. And retaliation can mean anything from messing with your money, and in some cases, death. You know? And we have to fix that. And I told you, I wrote a plan up. I tweak it every now and again. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's something that we can use if we're going to keep the current system in place, or we use something totally different, because you're going to have to use individuals. And my plan addresses all of that. But, here's the plug again. This is my book. I wrote it. It's called My Middle Eastern Conflict, Looking Back at My Future. I talk about the second time I whistleblowed, and the ostracism and the retaliation I went through. I share a couple of years worth of what I went through, and then the discovery that I made about myself and how that helped. And I'm hoping it helps some folks once they read the book. And that's all I want to share right now. Take a look at the online store. The link is in the description. I created notebooks and things like that. And that's it for now. I'll talk to you next week. But always remember, as is our tradition, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you later. Bye.